Hi, Rice here. Today we're going to make a video where I show you how to use the Countif function. And so we're going to do this and try and figure out some places where it can be used and how it would be used. So the Countif function is an interesting one because it'll do automated counting with a few conditions. So all I need is a free space to do that, and I'm going to use just this block, this right here. And so I'll change the cell style. Quickly we'll go with neutral just so that we know it's different. And I'm going to do equals countifs. Or I can do countif. Countif is the singular, and then countifs is similar. So I'm going to do a countif really quickly here. I want to take a look at this column, and so you can see this is the description for the function, and I could click on that if I want. But my range is which ones I want to select. So I'm going to select all of them here in the downs in this column that denotes downs like first, second, and third down. So I'm going to just count the range here and then do a comma. So I've said I want you to look at all of this section, and I want you to count if you meet the criteria, and the criteria would be that it's a 1. And so I want to see how many first downs there are for this set of data. So I hit enter, and it just counted all of the cells in that section that equal 1, and there's 61 first downs. So I could do the same thing. If I wanted, I could see how many third downs were there, and there were 31. So now it's counting for me all of the third downs. And so countif is a really useful function because I can have Excel count very specific things for me. You can see it's not a patterned function. That wouldn't really work so well, but it does give me a nice like summary. So this is count of third downs. So I can have that. Oh, maybe this should be sized a little differently. Okay, so there's that. And then next I can do count of, instead of third down, let's do first. Let's do count of first and 10. So that's just a common place that you'd be in. How many times were there first and 10? I guess we'd expect there to be 61 like there were for regular first downs, because you almost always start with a first and 10 unless there's something crazy that happened. So in football we'll look for that. Now for this I'm going to do equals countifs, the plural, and so my criteria range 1 would be this for downs. So I'm going to select the downs column. That's my criteria range 1. And then the criteria would be if that is a 1. So that's the first criteria that it would need to meet. And so it'll count if that's met, but then also if this next thing is met. So I'm going to add another condition looking at the distances. So I'll count up all these distances. So this is where it's going to look for my second criteria. And if that's a 2, then it'll count that. So, or not a 2, I want it to be 10, sorry. First and 2, well there were none of those. So first and 10 is what we're looking for. So in order for this to work, it'll need to have in the downs column a 1, and in the tens column, or in the distance column, it'll need to have a 10. So first and 10, we should see that this will count up all the times that there was a first and 10, and our estimate is that there'd be 61 like there were for first downs. But you can see there's 54. So there must be, and that's surprising to me. There must have been some situations where there wasn't a first and 10 like this one. And so that leads to an interesting pattern. Like, why were they first and 19? What's going on there? And so you can ask interesting questions just based on that countif or countifs function. So these two tools are useful if you want to try and do some analysis of big sets of data. So that's it. We'll talk about more later. Bye.